When you think of islands, you probably imagine paradise. White sand beaches, turquoise waters, maybe even a secret tax haven for the ultra-wealthy. Islands are often seen as escapes from reality, places where the world's problems can't reach you. But let's talk about Gosam Island, a place so overlooked even Google Maps barely cares to mark its existence. Most people have never heard the name, and even fewer could point to it on a map. For decades, Gosam was nothing more than a forgotten, sun-baked rock off Iran's southern coast, lost in the vastness of the Persian Gulf. It was a place where time seemed to stand still, untouched by the modern world. Nothing happened here, unless you count goats wandering through dust storms and the occasional gust of wind. Life was simple, almost invisible to the outside world. But here's the thing, forgotten places are often the perfect stage for something huge. History has a way of turning the most unlikely locations into the center of global drama. While the world was distracted by bigger headlines, China and Iran quietly saw potential in this dusty, overlooked island. They saw what others missed, a strategic opportunity. They didn't see a wasteland, they saw the future. Plans were drawn, deals were made, and visions of transformation began to take shape. Now, Gosam is at the center of a $500 billion deal that could shake up the global order. Construction crews, oil tankers, and investors are flooding in, turning the island into a hive of activity. This isn't about goats anymore. It's about oil, money, and power. Resources that can change the fate of nations and redraw the world's balance of influence. Oil, money, power. Two nations, one a global superpower, the other a sanctioned regional heavyweight, are teaming up to rewrite the rules. Their partnership could challenge the status quo and send shockwaves through international politics. Suddenly, Gosam is one of the most important places on the planet. News outlets are scrambling to cover the story, and world leaders are paying attention. It's the underdog story of the century, except in this case, the underdogs are actually giants, wielding enormous economic and political power. So buckle up. Gosam Island is about to become very, very famous. Its transformation is just beginning and the world is watching. And you're about to find out exactly why this once-forgotten island is now at the heart of a global power play. How does a forgotten island lost in the vast blue of the Persian Gulf suddenly become a global game changer? What makes a place, once overlooked by the world, rise to the center of international intrigue and ambition? The answer is simple, yet powerful: money. But not just any money. We're talking about billions flowing across borders, reshaping destinies and rewriting the rules of the game. In 2021, China and Iran inked a staggering $500 billion, 25-year partnership, transforming the island of Gosam into their joint mega-project, a symbol of ambition and defiance. This isn't just another business deal, it's a bold, strategic alliance, designed to shift the balance of power in the region and beyond. For China, it means secure, affordable oil, and a critical foothold in the heart of the Middle East, a region long dominated by Western interests. For Iran, it's a lifeline, fresh cash, cutting-edge technology, and a powerful friend willing to stand by its side, even as sanctions bite and pressure mounts. The plan is nothing short of audacious. Reinvent Gosam from the ground up: energy, trade, logistics, banking, ports, railways, and more. Every sector, every system rebuilt for a new era. It's a blueprint for a new economic center designed to operate far from US influence and to connect East and West on its own terms. And that's exactly what makes Washington nervous. The old playbook is being challenged and the stakes are higher than ever. For decades, the US relied on sanctions to isolate Iran, using economic pressure as its weapon of choice. But now, China's massive investment is blowing a hole in that strategy, creating new pathways for money, goods, and influence to flow. Together they're building a parallel system, one where the US dollar is no longer king, and new rules are being written in real time. Gosam is the launchpad for this new reality, a test case for a world where power is shifting and old certainties are fading. It's a direct challenge to American power, unfolding in plain sight, yet hidden beneath layers of construction and diplomacy. The world's balance of power is shifting, and it all starts here, on this once-forgotten island. This is more than a makeover, it's a revolution in how nations do business, build alliances, and project influence, and it's only just begun. The first stones have been laid, but the real transformation is still ahead. The stakes? Nothing less than the future of global influence and the rules that will shape the next century. All eyes are on Gosam. The world is watching, and history is being written, right now. Why Gosam? Location, location, location. Gosam sits at the mouth of the Strait of Hormuz, the world's oil superhighway. 1/5 of global oil passes through this narrow channel every day. For decades, the US Navy kept these waters open, acting as the world's energy security guard. But now, with China and Iran building a mega hub on Gosam, the game changes. This isn't just a port, it's a strategic fortress. It gives China and Iran a front-row seat to the world's most critical energy choke point. They can monitor, influence, and maybe even disrupt oil flows. The Pentagon is worried, and for good reason. The security of the strait is no longer guaranteed by American power alone. It's now a contested space. The implications, huge, for energy, trade, and global stability. Gosam is no longer a bystander, it's a power player, and the world is watching. What does $500 billion look like on the ground? Think armies of engineers, mountains of steel, and a port rising from the dust. Gosam is being transformed into an energy and logistics powerhouse. Massive oil storage tanks, refineries, and petrochemical plants are going up, turning crude into valuable products right on the island. A deepwater port is being built to handle the world's biggest ships. New roads, power grids, and pipelines will link Gosam to Iran and eventually China. Chinese firms are leading the charge, building at breakneck speed. For Iran, it's a lifeline. For China, it's a strategic jackpot. Every crane and container is a step away from Western control and a step toward independence. China's presence in the Persian Gulf isn't new, it's a comeback. While today's headlines focus on oil tankers and trade deals, the roots of this relationship stretch back centuries, echoing across the waves. In the early 1400s, Admiral Zheng He commanded a vast armada, leading China's mighty fleet to these very waters. His expeditions were legendary, bringing silk, porcelain, and treasures to distant shores, and returning with exotic goods and stories. These ships were more than vessels. They were floating cities, marvels of engineering that dwarfed anything Europe had seen. Zheng He's voyages connected China and Persia long before Europe's age of exploration, laying the groundwork for centuries of exchange. Zheng He's mission was about trade, diplomacy, and influence, not conquest. He forged alliances, exchanged gifts, and built trust, shaping the region's history. After his death, China turned inward, retreating from the world stage. Yet the memory of those epic voyages lingers, preserved in scrolls, artifacts, and the stories passed down through generations. Today, China invokes this rich maritime history to frame its return to the Gulf as a revival, not an invasion. By referencing Zheng He, Beijing seeks to reassure its partners that its ambitions are rooted in peaceful exchange. The Belt and Road Initiative and projects like Gosam are presented as a peaceful continuation of ancient trade routes, modern silk roads that promise prosperity and connection. It's a powerful narrative, one that softens China's ambitions and connects past glory to present strategy. The story of the dragon's return is as much about image as it is about influence. For Beijing, it's not just business. It's destiny, a chance to reclaim a place in the world shaped by history and heritage. And for the world, it's a reminder that history has a way of coming full circle, with old routes finding new life in a changing world. Gosam is the latest chapter, a modern port rising where ancient ships once sailed, linking past ambitions to future possibilities. Gosam is just one piece of China's grand puzzle, the Belt and Road Initiative. The BRI is a global web of ports, railways, and digital highways, all designed to put China at the center of world trade. Gosam is a key node on the maritime Silk Road, securing China's energy lifeline from the Middle East. It's also a launchpad for Chinese goods, tech, and influence. Every crane, every cable ties another country closer to Beijing. The BRI isn't just about resources, it's about creating new markets and dependencies. Gosam pulls Iran firmly into China's orbit, challenging decades of US dominance in the region. This is empire building with contracts, not armies. The result? A quiet, patient, and incredibly effective shift in global power, and it all starts on a once-forgotten island. Why did Iran sign up for this? One word: survival. US sanctions have strangled Iran's economy, making it nearly impossible to sell oil or access global markets. China's partnership is an economic lifeline, $500 billion in investment, jobs, and technology. Gosam lets Iran store, refine, and export oil outside Western control, dodging sanctions with China's help. It's a sophisticated workaround. keeping Iran's economy afloat and giving it new leverage. With China as a partner, Iran isn't isolated anymore. The power dynamic in the region shifts, Tehran gains security, and Washington loses its grip. For Iran, it's a bold gamble. For China, it's a strategic win. The neighbors have noticed, and they're nervous. Saudi Arabia and the UAE, long reliant on US protection, now see Iran gaining strength with China's backing. The regional balance is shifting, and everyone's recalculating. The Gulf states are hedging their bets, deepening ties with Beijing even as they boost their own defenses. Turkey too is maneuvering, balancing its ambitions with new opportunities from China's rise. For the US, Gosam is a wake-up call. Sanctions and isolation have pushed adversaries together, not apart. Washington faces tough choices: double down, negotiate, or accept a new reality. The rules of the game have changed. The future of global energy, regional stability, and world power now hangs over Gosam Island. The world is watching, and the stakes couldn't be higher. This forgotten island is now at the center of it all.